We're back.
Sorry, my arm's in a weird position.
Oh no.
So yes, we are back,
We are back.
and I came back from Hawaii.
Yes, you did, and you saw your volcano.
We'll get back. We'll get into that at the engineer side of things. But the artist, you were out for something. You class?
Yes, we were out because so Wednesdays now we have a new members class.
Okay.
Yes. Which in my head when John first told me about this, I was like, oh, new members class. So obviously we're going to be going over parts of the big parts of Lutheranism, especially for like new members, not just of the church, but to Lutheranism too.
Yeah, it's like confirmation class. That's what I like. New members class, like at our church at Shepherd, is like that's adult confirmation.
Yeah, it's basically just So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm going over everything that I already have learned from Pastor Weller. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. But like, there was a part of me that was like, oh, I don't know. Like and when I hear new member, I think like, oh, maybe we might like touch into parts about like, how we can be active members of the community in our church community. But yeah, so far it's I mean, like looking at like the class, because Pastor Gary has a class syllabus and and all the things, and so it's like, oh, we're just going into everything. We're going into our views on baptism. We're starting off right now with the 10 Commandments. That's what we just did, and then what original sin is, what sin is, all of those things. So. Yeah. While
Refresher
it is kind of repeat information for me, it's obviously it's good for all the people that are new here, but then also it's a good refresher for me to take in this information as an adult now, and reflect on that.
True.
So
that's true. It's been 8.
It's been 10 years.
10 years. Okay. Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there younger people with you or older people with you, or?
So there's a solid mix. I mean, it's only like a chunk of 10 of us at a time.
Okay.
But yeah, but there are a couple people who are new to the church. Some come from like things like a Presbyterian background. Some have like Catholic affiliations, things like that. And then there are others who are new younger parents who have just enrolled their children at the school, and so they figure, oh well, we might as well become members of this church as well, and kind of like see. And some of them are Lutheran, but then others are not, or don't, or like I mean, as far as I could like kind of tell, I mean, I haven't really like taught one-on-one to any of them, but there is definitely like one certain couple where like the guy's just kind of like, I don't know if I'm in on this whole religion thing. So very different people from all over. So yeah.
All right. So I have a question about, so we've been talking, or my usual weekly question is like, what did you cook? Right?
Yes.
So I'm assuming that it's like you're getting into a routine and cooking is becoming more patternized. But now my weekly question is like, how have you done socially? Have you expanded your social circle in any way, or have you been working on that, or how has it been going?
Oh yeah, I'm always working on it. So first of all, we have the new members class, and so in that way, there's some members that of the class who like we saw last Sunday, and so we were able to like catch up with them and things like that. But then also on Sunday, so what they're starting now is after the morning service, it's Bible study, and then it's the service that John and I usually go to. Now, this week, and I think through like the end of this year, they're kind of doing a thing where they're splitting the Bible studies between pastors. So Pastor Geyer leads the main Bible study, but then Pastor Zeroth is now leading sort of a small class on the 5 love languages. And so now John and I are joining that, and through that we're kind of getting to know a different aspect of the members of our church, like and their relationships with each other. I've been kind of making strides of like trying to interact with people in that route too. So
okay, and when is that one?
So that's on Sundays.
So there's like a church Bible study, church small class or something?
I just said, so it's church, and then the Bible study splits.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it's Pastor Gar doing regular Bible study, and then
Ah.
Pastor Zirath at the same time in another classroom
Oh,
doing the five love languages course.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So do you flip back and forth between the two classes or something? How
No,
does that work?
we're sticking to the five love languages one, but then like before that, there's the line of all the snacks that you get to go to, and then in that line. Oh, always in that line, I'm talking to somebody. Also, anytime that John John is like, "Oh, I need to go to the bathroom," and I usually go too. I'll usually strike up a conversation with some woman in the bathroom that is complimenting like my dress or something, and then like I'll or something like that. So it's all starting off with very small conversations here and there.
Okay.
And oftentimes they're older people. I haven't had too many run-ins with like younger people or people around my age necessarily. But when I do, it's pretty small talk. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
but that being said, I mean, John and I we're doing research on like the different out classes outside of church that we can that I might try to find around here. And then yeah, some classes, and then other events that are going on. I saw that you had sent us that thing on the Halloween haunt in downtown Fort Wayne, which unfortunately falls on the weekend that we're going to be out there
Oh,
in on
that's you're out
October
here.
for
Yes,
our
that's right.
reception, so we can't go to that. But
That's
that
right.
does sound really cool.
Yeah. So, and then I always ask, like like if you have a chance to go to seminary, try that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna ask you to send me some of your contacts over so I can. But at the same time, we know Pastor Zirath used to teach there. And
yeah,
so he definitely has connections. So we're gonna eventually we're gonna go around and talk to him. But we're not gonna be here this weekend. We're not gonna be at church this
yeah,
weekend since we have a wedding to go to. So hey, there you go. There's more socializing there with John's family.
yeah. But you need one in your hometown
I know.
because you need to find people in your hometown that you can hang out with. I'm
Yes.
just saying that's like
Oh,
yeah,
oh, I know. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so you guys are going to a wedding. Where's this wedding at?
This is in
Which
Minneapolis.
are you flying? You have to fly to there, right? Or
Yeah, we're
you drive
flying.
up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the rest
Um,
of the family's going, or
so it's the John's oldest and youngest sisters, and their families that are going. The
okay,
other two brothers and their families are not coming.
okay.
Yeah, but we'll be staying at the oldest sister's house.
Oh, okay.
And so that'll be nice, and then we'll just hang out with them. I think they also invited us to go to some sort of sporting event with them as well at the end of that evening, so that'll be fun too.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yes.
How's art? Any art? I saw you sent a bunch of stuff for Halloween, but do you have anything what you've been working on?
Yeah, so I have been working I've so since like the past couple of months I've been working on commissions and then stuff for my student and things like that. I finally gotten around and gotten the motivation to start making my own original work that that's going to go into my portfolio for like my interest in getting stuff in galleries around here. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. What kind of stuff are you thinking about putting together? You have
So
ideas?
I kind of took inspiration from some of the pieces that I was doing for our house. So for those who don't know, I basically we have what's called a little cat corner in our home now, where it's just all portraits of all the cats in our family. And then I'm kind of doing like seasonal drawings that I kind of replace them all with. So I did seasonal drawings of Halloween drawings that I've replaced with all of those, and then we did a whole thing where we decorated it with like to make it look like there's cobwebs all over it. So, yes. Oh, yeah. We've decorated. We've been having fun decorating our house. Anyway, but in doing that, I was also exploring different styles. Like it kind of went into like macabre kind of styles and things that were a little bit more stylized than my usual realistic approach. And I was thinking, oh, why don't I like try and see how this works with my work? So I've been working on this one piece that like has a very realistic like subject, but then kind of like the background and other elements are like like partially surrealistic, but also super stylized, where it's like it's not actually that realistic, especially in the color. So
But still drawing,
still
not
drawing.
not
Yes.
painting, not liquid graphite or anything like that.
No,
It's
nothing too
just
crazy. With sometimes when it comes to like exploring different styles, I are different types of subject matter that I want to put into my work. I like to use materials that I'm already comfortable and familiar with to explore those things. And then once I kind of feel like, oh, I can see how this works, then I might be feeling a little bit more brave to do it with different mediums. So
okay. That's good. You have been trying different things. Not, I mean, you haven't reached out into like crazy, like you're not oil painting, which is like something far afield,
yeah, no, not
but
yet, not yet.
not yet. But yeah. And then so did you? No, tomorrow would have been your art lesson with your student, so you didn't have that one.
Yes. So
But you
yeah.
did have last. Did you have last week?
Oh yeah, we had last week's.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
talk to you last week. So
Oh
anything
yeah. I
updated?
mean, yeah. I think. Okay, so last week I will also a little TMI here. I got my period, and so I was just like in. Sorry, I'm just. It's just I was just kind of in a funk that
Oh,
week.
okay.
That's yeah. And so I've but then through that I kind of figured out like what works best for me in like my curriculum with my student, where I'm like I want to be invested as I can into my student always.
Hmm.
But then when I'm like not in the mood for it, I'm like, okay, how can I do this without like not appearing super invested, which I am. I just like a lot of times I'm just kind of in a haze. But yeah, so last week it was a great point to do like a what I call a checkpoint session.
Okay.
Where I'm like, okay, I've taught you all these things and I've introduced you to a lot of techniques and stuff. Now I kind of want to see you. I'm going to prompt you with some sort of assign like an assigned drawing during class, and I just want to see how you're actually taking in all the information that I'm giving you and how you're actually going to use that in your own work. So,
And how did she do?
oh, she did great. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything less than what she came out with. I mean, yeah, like I said, her color blending is great. She loves using color, and then her details are always like really intense. And I also and the other thing that I think a lot of like younger kids around her age might struggle with too is size and composition.
Mm.
So because she's so detailed, she's making everything super tiny.
Ah,
And I'm like, no, because I could be, and I explained to her like if you want to blend, and I know that you like blending your colors, it's really tough to actually blend colors when there's such a small amount of it because you're coloring just a tiny little part. So that's why you need to make your subjects bigger. And so that was something that I was able to catch and be able to be like, okay, let's fix this real quick, and then she did just fine afterwards. So
nice. That's awesome.
yes.
Glad you're doing that. And any leads on any new students or anything yet? No, not yet.
Not yet. I mean, I'm definitely like keeping my eye out for some people in the new members class since they're
Hmm.
parents and then they have their
Oh,
they've enrolled their kids in the thing. So I'm like,
just
yeah. So yeah. And again, so far it's been small talk. So I think there was like there was one couple where like eventually the topic of like, oh, what I do came up, and I was like,
mm.
so this is what I do, and blah 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 blah. And if you happen to know of anybody who,
Yeah, that's what we talked about that when we were talking brainstorming. We were watching that guy talk about small business.
yeah,
And his thing was like, you don't ask the people directly, but you say, "Oh, do you know anyone who might be interested in the thing?" Right?
exactly,
Then it's
yeah,
not like you don't put pressure on
right,
them to
not
go,
just like,
"Oh,
hey,
oh
you
no,
should do
thanks."
this, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
So
don't go, "Oh no, thank you," that like, and then walk away from you. It's like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's I might know, like I'll think about some people that might do it."
right,
And then they might think of themselves, obviously, but
yeah,
it doesn't put the pressure on them. That was like
right.
what when we were watching those business videos. That's like one of the best like tips I ever heard from
Oh,
anybody. Just like,
100%. And
yeah,
it works really well for me because I'm naturally not a confrontational
yeah,
person
yeah,
at
yeah.
all. So
It
I
is.
don't want to just be like, yeah,
It does
So
totally
I'm
feel
like, oh, this is a
confrontational
great way for
to
me to
ask.
do it. I don't have to I'm not afraid of directly asking because I don't have to
Yes.
do that. I can
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey.
Yeah, you could. You're just. Yeah, you're just asking if they know anybody.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I'm not like, "Do you have kids?"
Yes.
Like, you know?
They look like they want to do art lessons.
Yeah. Oh,
You
no,
should.
they want that, and they're like, "You don't know
Oh,
my child," you know?
yeah.
So
Well, no, yeah, that I think that's a really great way to do it because we've seen we we both have that same thing where it's like if you ask directly, it's like it feels like there's too much pressure on both sides, right? You'll be
yeah.
embarrassed if they just go no, and then they're like, I don't know how to say no.
They're like, "Okay, this person's really intense. I'm gonna stay away from
Yeah.
them." I'm like,
But
"No,
but
no."
also but also it's like it's a wider net when you ask in general because
Right.
if you just ask them, they'll think of themselves and go no, no, no. But if you
Right.
ask if they know anyone, then they can think oh all these they can think through their mental Rolodex and then if they don't and then also themselves. But at least yeah, that way it's much it's much safer and actually more productive, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's like yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't and it yeah, it just leaves so much openness to the conversation where no one
Yeah.
feels trapped and no one feels pressured. So, yeah, like you
Yeah.
were saying. So, yes.
You're gonna have to do your same thing though when you're in those classes. You need to draw something of those. That's always for you. That's a it 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 attracts people's attention and it's not. It focuses on your art and not necessarily you. But then the art that you do is the thing that attracts people to like commissions or teaching or something because like you'll just randomly sketch something in while you're sitting around and you show somebody and give it to them or something and they're like that's and they go, I could use
Oh,
a
well,
commission for something,
well,
right?
yeah, that was something that I used to do in high school. Like, I would just like I would find random like because at that time I was only just starting to build a following, and then when people would follow me, then I would draw them, and then I would
Hmm.
post that and be like, I just like drawing my followers. Like, that was the thing that I
Hmm.
did, and then that attracted a lot of people. And then like even in high school, I was getting people to commission me for stuff, and then that's how I got people like asking me to do their grad caps. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So same thing, just in a different context, and you'll have to figure out what the best way for you to uh, like get that into the situation,
Yeah.
incorporate that. Yeah. Cool.
Yes. So we're figuring that out. Yes. Okay. Anyway, so you
So
got back
we
from
went to
Hawaii.
Hawaii and I don't know if did we talk about the Hawaii, but it was like mom was like, oh, we should go, we got to go somewhere, maybe we could go to Hawaii, and I said Hawaii volcano. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, we
That's
we kind
volcano.
of you had your volcano crashed out the last episode, but yes,
Yes.
yes,
Oh, did
you
I?
were
I
very
don't even
excited about your
remember.
volcano.
I'm delirious with volcano excitement. Sorry, but
It's the most like I said, it's the most illogical thing I've ever seen of just my dad just being like volcano. I'm like, okay.
so we so we went to the Volcano National Park and we went to Kilauea,
Yes.
and that is the one that has been erupting. And so here's the thing. Technically, we saw an eruption because the technical definition of an eruption is
Is
when
the
stuff
volcano
is
is
getting
active.
spewed out of the volcano. It doesn't have to be lava. It can be gases. It can be, like dirt particles, smoke, whatever. So we saw stuff coming out of the volcano. So technically, I have seen an eruption. The
Yes.
it was not lava. So that's my like that's the next level. So lava volcano, lava
Okay. Oh,
eruption,
now it's lava volcano. Okay.
lava, lava eruption. But we did see an eruption. I technically saw an eruption. So I'm
You
like
did?
volcano. It satisfied that I have seen a volcano
You
erupting.
have seen a
Not the
volcano.
lava yet though, but the volcano erupting. Yes.
Good job.
We were over there and mom was, relaxing and stuff. And it was, she planned it because you guys were both leaving in August or July
Yes.
and August. And so she wanted to have some kind of distraction. So we went over there and had a nice relaxing time. The thing is I was still working
Yes.
and, and it's 6 hours ahead of you and 3 hours ahead of my normal of the West Coast, right?
Yes.
The thing is I had 7:30 meetings, 7:30 West Coast meetings
Yeah. So you were up
scheduled
at 4:30.
but I had to get up at 4 because I need to be a little bit prepared. I had to
Yeah,
get
a
in the
little bit
shower
more
and stuff.
awake. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd get up at 4, but So basically, I would sleep around 5 hours, and then get up and and then do my day till like 2 or 2:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever that comes out to, and then I would take a nap for like an hour or
Yeah.
something in the day, and then go to dinner with mom, and then we'd come back and then do that again. But it was like I never got acclimated to their time because I was always waking up at 4, and so
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is yeah.
But
But
hey, I mean, less jet lag, on the way back, right?
I guess
So
so. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was no problem. I mean, going there or arriving there, yeah, it was always off, so I never got. Yeah, it was never right. It was just
yeah.
sleep a few hours, take a nap, sleep a few hours, take a nap. That
Yeah.
was my sleep schedule when I was there, and it
Well,
was
I mean,
hot,
right? Oh, yeah.
so it was muggy, and so anywhere outside of the where the air conditioners were, it was really kind of gross. But
Yeah, but you got your volcano.
I
Mom got
got
to
the
relax.
volcano.
Mom, oh my gosh, mom's been reading a
Yeah,
lot.
mom read like 2 books while we were like whole books while we were there. That's
Yeah, she finished a whole book on the plane.
yes. That's for mom. That's a lot.
That's really good.
She did. Yeah, she when she gets into books, she can really read a lot. But it takes her a lot to like find a book that she even wants to read. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, half the books that she reads are like Nicholas Sparks
not
books.
half. Pretty much all the only
Okay, pretty
book
much
she.
all of them. Okay.
Yeah, unless Bachan or somebody gives her a book that says you'll like this one.
Well, yeah,
But
there's always some sort of like romance involved in it. I mean,
and a
like,
twist.
and this,
Mom,
but she doesn't
romance
even
and
know
a
what she's.
twist.
Sorry. I just not trying to bag on mom here, but just sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, but there was a twist," and I'm like, "That's not a twist. That's the exposition. That was information that was just given to you. The twist
Well,
is when you realize something later."
well, that's a lot of them times. It's like they don't. Yeah, it's the twist is that they didn't give you all the information.
Right.
So
And I'm like, "No, mom,
that's
you
okay.
knew this going into the book." But okay.
She's got it. She's good.
It's okay. No, she's reading though. That's awesome.
It is very
Yeah.
good. So, sorry. So you have pop culture this week. We're going a little fast because I think I don't want to keep you up too late. But
Oh, it's not that late. It's only like 10, but
okay. But you
yeah.
go to sleep
It's
anyway. So you have pop culture this week. What is your pop culture?
yes. Well, technically, yeah, like I have pop culture, but I mean, let's just address the big elephant in the room. There's been some not so nice stuff to see this past week.
Oh, I
And
have a question. Did you see it?
did I like see the unfortunately, yes.
Oh, I was on. Well, what I'm on. I'm on X, right? The
Yeah,
terrible
no, of
one.
course it's going to be on the X. Yeah.
And then I did not want to see that. Like I had, I saw some posts that like it had happened. He had been shot.
Yeah.
And then I was looking for some other info, and then it came by like this thing, like the video. It just went by, and I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that looked like AI. But I didn't not want to go back to try to look again to see if it was.
No.
But it looked like the way it looked, it was like, well, that looks. It didn't. It looked so like. It looked like in such high def that it looked like AI,
It was
and it was like,
horrendous.
yes, it was completely horrendous. And I'm like, I don't want to see that again. And then
Oh.
I scrolled, and then it showed me another angle of it, and I'm like, I did not need. And then,
No,
but I haven't.
no
I've
one
seen it.
needs
It's 2
angles.
angles, and that was it, and no more. I do not want to see it anymore.
No.
I'm like, no, I do not want to see it.
No, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I wanted to bring this up because I had a little bit of an interesting interaction with some people on my social media on Instagram.
Okay.
So basically what happened was so the thing happened, we saw the video, disturbed, oh gosh, this is awful.
Mhm.
But unlike a lot of people, my immediate thought isn't I'm gonna post about this to social media. I'm just gonna keep this, I'm gonna talk to my husband about this when he gets home, so then and we can lean on each other and we can talk through it. Yeah, and so that's what we
Mhm.
do. And then I go back on Instagram because my husband sends me reels, and so like looking at the reels sometimes, and then I'm noticing like, oh wow, a lot of my old friends, old classmates from Cal Arts are posting on their stories. what are they saying? And then I'm going through it, and then like I'm looking, and then there's this one person who posts the article of what happened,
Hmm.
and the caption is "finally"
Oh, that's
with
not good.
a
Yeah.
celebration little emoji.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. I swipe through, and then I see more posts that are like that. Whether it's celebrating, or then other people being like, but what about the people in Gaza? But what about the people the kids who got shot at that shooting in Denver and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay. So we're just not gonna take a moment to mourn any. We're gonna celebrate somebody dying now. Is that where we're at right now? This is gross. And then I'm like, oh, is this? I'm only on Instagram. What's happening on X? So John's on X, and he's like, oh yeah, no, it's bad. And so then so then I'm thinking, okay, this is terrible. And I'm not one to post obviously on social media, but then I'm thinking, okay, people are posting all these things on their stories. I want to respond in some way to kind of, because as John
But not
and I ended
directly.
up, what?
But you weren't directly responding to a
I
particular
wasn't responding
person.
to anybody directly. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't like calling anybody out. I was just like, I'm just gonna post a little small statement to my Instagram story, not even a post, and just kind of just remind people of humanity. So I think my post, the caption that I had was, I wrote out the definition of murder according to the Urban Dictionary, or just the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. And then I said something like, morality should inform your political beliefs, but you should never compromise it. And at the end, I put rest in peace and prayers and thoughts for the families of all those affected by gun violence. That was all I said. Tell me why I get people responding to that. I'm first of all, I lost a bunch of followers, which who cares? But then I got people in my DMs saying, "Oh, you're a Nazi apologist."
Yeah. Okay.
And I
There
was
you
like,
go.
"Oh, all right, I'm gonna get off of social media. This sucks. What's going on?" I posted I went to John because I was like, "I'm not crazy, right? That wasn't a political statement what I just posted." He was like, "No, that was nothing was a political about that. That was just stating facts." I'm like, "Yeah." And then now people are like, "Oh, so you supported a Nazi?" And I'm like, "That's insane." No. So
Wow.
yeah, so that was my little experience on social media,
So
and yeah,
mom had something. She talked to me when we were at dinner one night, and we talked about this. And so she posted like one of those little card thingies where have words, and like she had thoughts and prayers or something. I don't know if what she said exactly worded, but rest in peace, Charlie Kirk kind of thing,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
then she got all kinds of posts or comments from people she expected and didn't expect, and like
yeah,
some of the ways that people were saying things were like she felt really like, what are they saying? And so one of the things that this brought up was his style of his debate. And so
yes,
we talked about 2 episodes ago, we talked about rage bait. And
yes,
then last week last time we talked about the way that I didn't like the way the debate culture online was,
yeah,
right? And
especially on
he was
Jubilee
part
and
of that.
those
Yeah,
shows.
he was
Yeah, yeah,
part of that though.
yeah,
But so the thing is that there's two kind of levels of Charlie Kirk, and I don't know if ever like I have seen him for a long time.
yeah,
I would watch there's lots of the clip ones, of the individual interactions, but I've watched a couple of like the full scenario,
yes,
his lecture and then his Q&A. Before, like around 3 to 5 years ago, he used to be when he used to give a lecture and then get Q&A, he used to do the own the lib, like excuse me, have all these facts that would
yeah,
just like shut them down,
yeah,
right? And that was his style previously. He would just shut people down because he's like, your arguments are terrible and here's a good argument. And that was the kind of one that I was talking against, because that interaction does not help anyone, especially when they're students and they really are clueless. I mean, he's
Right.
not he they were clueless. He was trying to like show them up and things like that. But these in the last couple years, when he's been doing these things where he sits in front of them at at a at a table
At
and
like a
has them
college
directly
campus, yeah.
and directly talking into a microphone and talking with him, he did a lot less of that. I mean, he still had all his facts, but his facts used to be more gotcha kind of facts. It's like
Right.
you have nothing to say that. But his now it turned into he would use those facts to try to change their mind, to try to have them see a different way. And so
Right. Yeah,
I
and not just to
appreciated
be like, "Haha, you suck, you're wrong."
yeah, exactly.
It was, "Oh,
And
no, no,
or try to
no.
embarrass
I
them. He could
understand where
because
you might get that
yes.
misinformation, and you might think
Yes.
that way, but here's actually some real facts, and that
Yes,
I would like you
because
to
they were
consider."
so misinformed. They were. It
Yes.
was like you are like your child. Your logic is not there. You're not understanding what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And so he that's where he evolved into that, which is the better side of the debate because he's actually trying to engage with them to such that they change their minds, not to get gotcha to get clicks and views.
Yeah.
And so that's where he evolved into something that I much more appreciated because he would try to he really did in these the last 2 years 3 years of watching him. He has really tried to get mostly just to get them to think about how their position is illogical.
Right.
And he had all the facts and all the and his religious convictions and all these things behind it, but
Mhm.
but it wasn't just to embarrass them. He tried to not he tried to steer them away from being as embarrassing as they were sometimes, right?
Yes.
And like a lot of times he couldn't stop them because they were just it's like they were just incoherent. They it was completely on emotion. And
Oh, well, yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, right. One of the other big things that that kept floating around was like, oh, I don't have empathy for Charlie Kirk because he always said that empathy is a weakness and empathy is a bad thing. So why would I give that to him? And I was like, okay, first of all, you're literally proving his point. No, that like first of all, people don't understand what empathy is anymore. Empathy does not mean like, oh, I'm gonna preserve my empathy or like my feelings of goodwill towards people based off of like whether I agree with them or not. That's not
yeah.
what is that? No. What he was talking about is how empathy as a word, as sort of like there's something behind the word that's kind of pushing a certain narrative and a certain agenda onto our culture that is harmful. That is what he's talking about there.
Yeah.
But people are taking that and being like, "Oh, see, that's what he said, so I'm not going to have empathy." And it's like,
Yeah. Well, the other big one that I saw, and this is sorry, I got distracted from it, but when Mom and I were talking, that's the one. She got a couple comments where, well, Charlie Kirk said that some people are going to die from gun violence, and that's just going to happen because we have the Second Amendment.
yeah.
Right. And Mom was like, that doesn't sound right. And I'm like, okay, I like this is, and we can talk about this so that you understand. I don't know if you went through it, but I understood where it come from because I listened to that debate or where that clip comes from. So
Well, that's the other part. People take all those things out of context because they want it to fit into their own context.
Because there is such because the context he always gave because he was debating and he said a lot of context and there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot to understand about it. But
Always, yeah.
So he would start with, what is the Second Amendment for? Well, the Second Amendment is to prevent so that the citizens can have arms so that they can protect themselves against the government, because that's what it's for. It's to protect yourself against a tyrannical government.
Yes.
If you have no guns, you cannot protect yourself from a tyrannical government. Let's say this, when the actual Nazis came into power, that was one of the first things they did was take away guns from everyone, because then if no one has guns, they can't stop you from dominating them, right?
Yeah.
So that was the reason that our founders have the Second Amendment, because yes, there is an idea of hunting and stuff, but the main point is that you can protect yourself from tyranny. Now, when he was saying is that because of that, that is so important and so fundamental that you have to you can't, and there is no way to create enough laws to only the good people quote unquote good people, only people who won't commit evil acts. There's no way to prevent people from committing evil acts if everyone has the ability to to have things. It's like just like free speech. Because we have the right to have free speech, people will say bad and horrendous things, right?
Oh,
But
horrible. Yeah.
you get horrendous things because you have the freedom of speech. And so that's what he was saying. There's there's going to be side effects, is what I think. Or he said something along those lines.
He did, yeah.
He diminished it, or he made it. When people used the words against him, it made it sound like he was diminishing that it was that people were dying. It wasn't that. It's like there is such a. What his point was is that there's such a like a strong and powerful reason that we need to have guns, because that's what the framer said. And that's how we also, when the government doesn't protect you, you have to have a recourse for protecting yourself. So all these things lead up to the fact that there are going to be guns, and people who with ill intent can get to them, right? Because that's just how the system works. You cannot where are the most gun crimes committed? In places where there are the strictest gun laws.
Yep.
Chicago has the strictest gun laws, and it has the highest per capita murder rate, right? It's because you cannot stop the bad people from getting guns. So that's what the point he was trying to make, is that you can't stop everyone. And so just saying banning the Second Amendment is not going to work. So you need to have the Second Amendment, and because we have it, there are going to be bad situations.
Right.
Right. And you just can't stop it. And either way, and even now at this point, even if you repeal the Second Amendment, there's so many guns, you'd still get the violent, and at that point only the bad people would have them. And so it just makes no sense that but that's what Mom ran up against. And she was like, how do I resolve this in my head? Because the people are saying he said this, and I was like, I can't, I'm not going to lie to her, or she should know the truth. He did say those things, but the context in which he's saying it was very nuanced and had sound fundamental reasons behind it. It wasn't just, we have to be able to have guns, and oops, occasionally people are going to die, innocent people are going to die. Oh well, that's what people were trying to say he was saying, but that's not at all what he was saying.
No. And again, that's what happens when you lead with emotion.
Yeah.
And that just
Yeah. I mean, so, and the people that don't want to, or were opposed to his views, they're not going to try to think and put the best construction on things, or try to understand the actual case he was making, right?
Right. You're just going to assume the worst about somebody you already don't like.
But the thing is, when he was debating, that's the thing that he did well, was he was trying to help them see, the people he was debating. He knew what they were talking about, and he was trying to help them understand where their thinking was, instead of just saying, "Oh, you're an idiot," or you make no sense, or just giving out. Like I said, he used to just pull out the fact that would just own the lib. He transformed it into, okay, I know what your thought process is, but here's where your thought process is going off the rails, and where it does not make logical sense, and why I believe what I believe versus what you believe. We're faced with the same set of facts, but you interpret them emotionally, and not how he's. His perspective, and even his perspective was, okay, so one of the ones that he like in the last year and a half, his big one was college is a scam, right? And so people were he was debating college students, so many of them were offended, right? He's like, yes, well, okay, he would go like this, all right, so how many of you have to take classes that you don't even want to take? And they're all like, yeah. So if you have to go somewhere, and the only way you get through something is they force you to take do certain things that you don't even want to do, isn't that kind of a scam? And then he's like, well, and then and
it's like, well, then that's the case. Then life is a scam, because there's so many things that we don't want to do that we have to do.
But see, you are signed up for college. See, that's what he's saying. There's certain life you have to do things, but college you don't have to do. So his point, is that like you're paying for something that large sums of money you're paying, and they're forcing you to do things that have nothing to do with where, what you're trying to do, what the degree you're trying to get. And then, somebody will talk about, like they'll say, oh, I'm here to get a sociology degree or a social worker's degree. And he's like, well, what are you going to do with that? And they're like, I don't know. I heard there's jobs in social work. And they, like he's like, and you're going into all this debt for something you don't even know. Isn't that like, in that kind of and how many people in social work actually had to have that degree and things like that. He'd go into that, like what percentage of people who, who graduate with your degree are actually using that degree. Well, if you're paying for something and then you never use it, isn't that a scam? Right? Or like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And so he would but see, like I said, it's all logical. And so nobody wanted to hear that because they didn't want to believe that they didn't want to examine what they were doing and, and then be held accountable, at least accountable in their own mind.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was always like I said, he transformed into someone who tried to change minds versus the gotcha guy. And I used to hate that gotcha guy, but he still actually sometimes he still did something similar when he brought out his facts. One thing to always know about these when you see the debates and stuff, people will bring out facts like since 1980, blah blah blah, X, Y, and Z have happened, but
yeah.
But so that that particular statistic may prove your point, like that some bad incidents have grown since 1980, right? But then, like if I took a different time frame, like since 2000, that same incident rate has been flat or down. But you cherry pick the start date to make your point. And he still did that at times. And that's where, like I said, that's where the debate thing annoys me, because there's a part of it that's you're not trying to understand what's going on or understand the other person's perspective. You're just trying to win the argument. And so, like I said, he did a lot less of that, but there were still times when he brought out his facts that were specific to a time span that would cause you to go, if you looked at it, depending on where that date and time started, you would get a different understanding or a different you get a different feeling about what was right or what the argument should be.
Right. Again, it's kind of going back to a little bit about like what John and I have been talking about recently, which is all is vanity, and people treating themselves and just other things like gods, really. And that's the narcissism, that's all these things, and why our culture is just like so all over the place, because everybody's just focused on themselves and not doing things for the glory of God. They're doing it just and everybody else needs to worship and uplift them, and like they need to validate everything that they're saying just because it comes from them, and it's just it's frustrating.
Yeah, but well, that's why I just bring it back. Your sister has found a group of friends that are share her same worldview, right? And that's one of the things we always hope for her, and that's for you as you moved out. Now you have to find that in your own way. It's a little harder because you don't
which I'm realizing is, I mean, like it's more difficult for me since I've always had school or always had some sort of something that would bring people to me, and now I'm like, oh no, I have to find that myself.
It's hard. It's hard. I understand that it's hard, but that's why I keep asking you to try, like what you're going to try to do the things. Yeah.
Oh, and I know. I mean, I even asked John, and he was like, I mean, don't ask me. I didn't make friends here. You made more friends than me. Actually, you've actually talked to more people than I have in 3 years. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna give your advice about that. Thank you. So
hopefully there'll be what. Do you guys have a vicar this year? I mean, you usually do, or field work students.
We do have a field worker. Yeah. He just this past Sunday we saw him for the first time.
So you should introduce yourself and have him, like you guys, since you're young and stuff, and you guys can have him over for dinner and stuff like that. That's another way to do
Oh
things.
yeah,
Like you could just make
100%.
your, your pasta and salmon or something like. But yeah,
Yes.
like
Right.
you should do
Yeah.
that with the younger people and in your congregation. That's an easy way, is especially since there's if you keep it small, it's easier for you guys, right? So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I have like made some attempts. Like, I'll tell you this one time when like I was in the bathroom and then like there was this like younger looking woman that was like talking to me, and I think she was yeah, I think there's always something with like women complimenting each other in the
okay.
bathroom, right? So we're doing that, and then I was like, "Oh, by the way, like, what's your name?" And she says her name. She didn't ask me for my name, and I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm Emmy, and I'm new to this congregation, and so I'm just trying to, make friends." And she was like, "Oh, cool, good luck with that." And I was just like,
Okay. All right.
"It's like
Okay.
I'm
No, that
trying,
good job.
people. What's
No,
going
I
on?"
would like to say that's awesome, dear. That's great. I know it's like people are people. They're gonna some are gonna be like in like like looking for that as well, or you just have to keep doing it. So that's awesome, dear. That's a good
Yeah,
that's a I'm like that you did that. I say that. So one time it's gonna work. The way that you're just gonna say it, and someone will be like, they'll actually ask your name, and you'll like, you say, oh, we should, or you'll be talking over, at in Bible study, and you'll like, oh, we should just go out to lunch after, after Bible or after church or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, no, I know it's gonna eventually happen. Yeah, it's just like
You have to keep trying.
I get very ooh, I'm getting emotional. I get very overwhelmed putting myself out there like that. Sorry, this week is getting a lot to me. Ooh, yeah. It's just it's so much easier when like I still get anxious when other people approach me, but it's not I do not get as anxious when it's me being the one
No,
approaching.
no.
Ooh. Um yeah. So I think that's like the big struggle here is like I'm cuz like there's me. I kind of do a thing where like I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I kind of paint myself in like a light of like I need to constantly be doing better, and I need to be doing these things and all the right things, and if I don't do the right things then I'm a failure. So I've been having with all the stuff that's been going on in the world, I've just been like, oh, I need to be doing more. I need to be doing something productive, and I need to like be outreaching to the community more. But I'm so freaked out about doing that, and then I get anxious about it, and then I feel like a failure for being anxious, and then I'm like, no, don't think like that. You're not a failure for being anxious. You're a failure because you hide from trying. Um, so it's been I just also finished
So
my
yeah.
period. Sorry, I'm just like I'm all over the
Yeah,
place.
but
So,
you do have that
sorry.
tendency to find a way
I've
to blame
realized I've also
yourself.
just been a little bit low energy on
Sorry.
this on
No.
today's episode. So I'm like I'm all over the
No,
place.
sorry, I interrupt you, but like I was saying that you have that tendency to make your make everything about yourself a failure, or to be harsh
Yes.
on, and then harsh about yourself about being harsh on yourself. I mean, you can spin it
Yes.
into at no point do you ever resolve the thing, and you can always blame yourself. You can continue to blame yourself on top of blaming yourself, which
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's the else. Then I get hard on myself, so I'm like, oh, I'm totally doing like the leftist lib thing where I'm just like, it's I'm spinning everything into like making it about me somehow. And then I get freaked out over
no,
that.
but the thing that you're
Um,
making
yeah.
about yourself is yourself, really. It's not.
Yeah.
It's their typical thing is any problem that happens. It's always because they were targeting you, right? Everyone's trying
Right.
to get. That's the liberal way of thinking. Is like everything that happens is they're trying to get you. You're the victim of everything. That's not where you're going. Yours is like, I need to be doing something. I'm not doing it. That means I'm bad. And then I'm bad for not
Yes.
for thinking that I'm doing bad, but then I keep doing that, so that's bad. And then, so it's like you'll spin it until until you get sad, or talk to
Yes.
your husband, and he will bring you back to reality. But
Which he's been
yeah,
doing, and he's always been
yeah,
great at that. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, and I'm like, I'm my own worst
oh
enemy
yeah,
here, man. Like it's really something I'm figuring out how to resolve within myself. But yeah, he really does, like he does a great job of grounding me and reminding me of like how he
yeah,
sees me. And all the amazing qualities that he sees in me. But like I've been telling you recently, like as much as I appreciate that, it's really hard for me to take those in when I don't really see that in myself. And that's the big step for me to actually be able to take in the words that you're saying to me.
yeah.
So,
But you like just the fact that you did that, like you went and tried, and then it failed. It's okay though, right? Because that's that's you can't control that. Whether someone like reaches back, comes reaches back to you towards you. But if you reach towards somebody, eventually, you'll find somebody like like I said, your sister's tried all these things, and she will do the things that she wants to do, and without remorse, and whether anyone else cares or not. But then she will also, like, she's learning that she needs to be, that she can find common things that with other people. Like she's learned, she's like into Dolly Parton now. Like, you
wait,
did not know
what?
that?
This is
No,
completely
she got
what?
into Dolly Parton because one of her roommates was like likes Dolly Parton and sings Dolly Parton songs, and she was not roommates but one of her friends, and so she's like
Yeah.
she's doing singing Dolly Parton songs, and she's like she likes Dolly Parton. She's line dancing. She's doing. I mean, she's
Yeah.
trying
Oh,
things.
yeah. I heard about the line dancing part.
Yeah.
The Dolly Parton
No,
was new to me,
but
but
she's just
yeah.
like you'll find that it's the same thing. She's tried other things. She went to stuff that she did not enjoy. And so
Yes.
just putting yourself out there is just trying, and lots of, you'll have enough failures, but then some, you'll have enough wins that make it worth it.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens when your dad gets out there, because it'll be
Oh,
terrible.
good lord.
Probably. No, your dad will be not good.
No, I mean, well, 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 okay. Well, first of all, we'd have to see, like, when John and I have kids and how old they'll be when eventually Gigi comes over and they're like, "Oh no." Are they gonna be in preschool by the time you're over? And then it's like, "Oh boy, Gigi's gonna be your
Oh
preschool
no, I'm not
teacher.
gonna.
Good
I'm not
luck."
teaching. No one would put me in a classroom. That's insane. Unless
Oh,
I'm
no, no, I'm
homeschooling.
saying like you homeschooling them. That was what you
No,
were
no.
talking
Well,
about.
I mean, if you guys are probably not going to do that, but if you'd want to, I will. I'm still up
No, we're
for it.
not. But
I will still take them on
yeah.
field
Oh yeah,
trips.
in the summer it'll be like summer school with Gigi.
Take the
Oh
van out.
no. And then you take the
Take
van
them
and
to
you take them on
take
field
them to the
trips.
Fort Wayne Zoo. Take them over to, like, we'll go all over the thing. We'll take them on weekend trips where I take them to, like, I'm sure there's national parks and parks around, like state parks and stuff around, and so we'll just go to those. We'll go do all that kind of stuff.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. Oh man. No. Do John and I need to have enough kids to take up a whole bus?
No, well, if you want to, it's an option because we'll have the whole bus.
Right. Then I'm like, oh no, like what? Oh gosh, you could turn that into a business. Oh no, you could be the tour
Oh, a
guide
tour guide.
guy for the kids. Oh no, and oh wait, speaking of tour guides, I was gonna ask you before we finished here. Didn't you guys have like a funny like experience with like your tour guide in
Oh, this
Hawaii?
guy was interesting. He knew every. He was so. I would put you this way. Your and no one else knows him, but your golf coach, Uncle Richie. He ki- he kind
Oh,
of
Uncle
knew
Rishi, yes.
everything, like something about everything. And if he talked about anything, he would probably have a response or an answer or something. Like his own spin on the thing. This guy was the same way. He knew something about everything. He like his 13-year-old was in college or something. Like, I have no idea what he was talking about. He's like, he just saying things, and I don't know what was true and what wasn't, but he just always had something to say. It was like, ooh, it was exhausting.
Yeah, because I was on a FaceTime with mom, and then she was sharing with me about that. She was like, "Oh, we knew too much about that guy's
Yeah.
life. We were there for information about Hawaii, and then we
Yeah, he
got
was
all
it
about
was
the
so
tour
weird
guide."
because he's like, oh, I can't eat certain things. And then he was, and then he's like, but then he would get like, he's like, oh, the night before I was drinking and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wait, can you not eat things, or do you eat things? Or, like, I didn't even understand what he was talking about. He just was saying so much stuff. I could not figure out what was real and what was like just him talking. crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. Well, I'm glad you guys had fun, and you got to
I
see your
saw a volcano.
volcano.
I saw it erupting. It was fun. It's also interesting because you could tell where it was because it was more warmer. We're like standing on the on a deck, but even though it was hot all around, you could tell it was warmer over by where the volcano, the top of it was.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. Nice.
All right, dear. Have a great trip to where is it? Minneapolis? You're going to? All right.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, be
Yes,
safe
the wedding.
and have fun.
Yes. Yes. And you guys, what are you guys up to?
Mom's going out of town and I'm home alone.
Where's mom?
Scrapbooking.
Where's mom? Oh,
No,
she
she's
going
going.
to
Well,
Disney
I
again?
think she might be going there, but she's going to a scrapbooking event this weekend. Yeah.
Ah, fun. Nice. All right. Well, hopefully the cats
Oh,
don't pee
they
too
will.
much.
But yeah, my buddy will take care of me.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Stormy.
All right, dear. I love you. You have a good night.
I
Okay.
love you too, Dad. Have a good night.